Good morning, everybody. In this class, we are going to learn about the chemical properties of sulfuric acid. First of all, we are learn all the terms of sulfuric acid, that is preparation methods, physical properties, and uses of sulfuric acid. So in this class, see the chemical property of sulfuric acid, that is H2SO4. First chemical property, acidic property of H2SO4. Acidic property of H2SO4. This indicates that sulfuric acid can shows the acidicity or acidic in nature. Why? Explain that. H2SO4 ionizes in aqueous solution in two steps. What? Sulfuric acid is dissolved in water, then it breaks up, dissociated, ionizes in two steps. How? In first step, sulfuric acid dissolved in water to form the hydronium ion H3O plus and HSO4 minus ion. Sulfuric acid breaks up to give the hydronium ion and HSO4 minus. At that times, the value of dissociation constant of that acid is greater than 10. See again, value of dissociation constant of that acid is greater than 10. So it is the what? First state. Second state, that HSO4 again dissolved in aqueous solution. HSO4, that is anion, dissolved in H2O to form the hydronium ion and sulfate ions. See again, HSO4 again dissolved in water to form the hydronium ion and sulfate ion. At that time, the value of dissociation constant of that acid is equal to 1.2 into 10 raised to the power minus 2. So these are the two steps in which sulfuric acid is dissociated or ionized and gives the dissociation constant value in first step and second step. The greater value of dissociation constant Ka than 10 means H2SO4 is largely dissociated, that is completely dissociated. So it indicates as the sulfuric acid is the strong acid. We know in ionic equilibrium chapter, those acids can dissociate completely or largely are strong acids. Depending upon that, the value of dissociation constant of sulfuric acid is greater than 10. Hence, it largely dissociated in aqueous solution to give the H plus and HSO4 minus. Hence, H2SO4 is the strong acid. So this is the first chemical property of sulfuric acid. Depending upon that, we can learn the sulfuric acid is acidic in nature. Second chemical property, it is reaction with metals or non-metals. What is the reaction of sulfuric acid with metals and non-metals? First of all, see the metals and non-metals oxidized by hot and concentrate H2SO4. For the reaction with metals and non-metals, we have to require the hot and concentrate sulfuric acid, which itself get reduced to form the sulfur dioxide efferences. Whenever metals or non-metals can react with hot and concentrate sulfuric acid, then it gives the efferences of sulfur dioxide gas. See the examples. First, metal, that is copper. Copper is react with concentrate sulfuric acid to form the copper sulfate. Copper sulfate with efferences of SO2 in aqueous medium. Second, that is sulfur is the non-metal, can react with sulfuric acid, also gives the efferences of sulfur dioxide to form the water. That reaction is reduced to give the SO2. Again, carbon is metalloid, can react with the sulfuric acid to form the carbon dioxide gas with differences of sulfur dioxide. So all these chemical properties of H2SO4 can shows that whenever metals or non-metals can react with hot and concentrated sulfuric acid to give the differences of sulfur dioxide, SO2 gas. Third chemical property is dehydrating property. What chemical property of sulfuric acid? First, can shows the acidic in nature. Second, reaction with the metals and non-metals. Third property can shows dehydrating property. First of all, see what is the dehydrations. Dehydration is what? The process in which any compound can react with reagent to use the water, to lose the water, is called as dehydration. The process in which removal of water is called as dehydration. So H2SO4 can act as dehydrating agents. How? Concentrate sulfuric acid is strong dehydrating agent when it reacts with number of substances which removes water from the sugar and carbohydrates. Sugar or carbohydrates can heated with sulfuric acid, concentrate and hot, then it gives the water, remove the water. So sulfuric acid acts as the dehydrating agent. For that purpose, we have to take an example of C12H22O11, that is sugar. When this sugar is dehydrated by using concentrated H2SO4, then it gives the carbon and remove the water. So in this process, the sulfuric acid acts as the dehydrating agent and we get the sugar charcoal carbon. This is the third chemical property. Fourth one, reaction with salts. How to react sulfuric acid with different salts? Concentrate sulfuric acid decomposes salts to give the corresponding acids. We can take any salts, sodium chloride, then potassium nitrate, calcium fluoride, any salt can react with concentrate H2SO4, then we get the corresponding acids. For example, first sodium salt, sodium chloride is the common salt, reacts with the sulfuric acid to give the sodium bisulfate with HCl. It forms the acid, hydrochloric acid. Second, potassium nitrate can react with the sulfuric acid, then it gives the potassium bisulfate and nitric acid. Main product is the nitric acid. Then calcium fluoride salt reacts with the concentrated sulfuric acid, then it gives the calcium sulfate with the hydrogen fluoride acid. It shows that whenever the sulfuric acid can react with the number of salts, then it gives the corresponding acids. Sodium chloride to give the hydrochloric acid, potassium nitrate to give the nitric acid, calcium fluoride salt gives the hydrogen fluoride. We can change the salt, then we get the corresponding acids. So these are all chemical properties of concentrate sulfuric acid or H2SO4. Here G16 becomes completed. What G16 means to what? The elements, which elements? Oxygen, sulfur, selenium, then tellurium and polonium are placed in a group of periodic table. It's called as G16 elements. That G16 is completed. After that, see the next group, G17 elements. the completion of G16. We are going to discuss about group 17 elements. How to define the term G17 in periodic table? We know in periodic table there are 17 groups and 18 groups and 7 periods. 18 groups and 7 periods. That is the modern periodic table. In this modern periodic table, the 17th group elements which are placed in that 17th group. The elements fluorine, then chlorine, first element chlorine, third bromine, iodine, and astatine. The elements fluorine having atomic number 9, chlorine having atomic number 17. Fluorine 9, chlorine 17. Third bromine 35, iodine 53, and astatine 85 are placed in a group of periodic table called as G17 elements. Suppose question may be asked for 1 marks. Define the G17 elements. At that time write the elements fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, and astatine are placed in a group of periodic table. Is called as G17 elements. These are also called as halogens. The G17 elements are also called as These are also called as halogens. These are also called as halogens. How to break up the halogens? When this word halogen is breaks up, to use the halo means to what? And gens. Halo, that is salt. Halo means to what? Salt. And gens, that is gens means to what? Producing or born or producers. So this word combinedly, halogens means to what? Salt producing elements. What? The G17 elements are also called as halogens, and halogens means to what? Salt producing elements. Salt producing elements. Those elements can produce the salt are called as G17 elements, and G17 elements are called as halogens. Remember that point? G17 elements are called as halogens. So these are the G17 elements. Then see the occurrence of G17 elements. Occurrence of G17 elements. Occurrence of group 17 elements. The G17 elements, that is halogens, are very reactive. Halogens or G17 halogens are very reactive elements. Halogens are very reactive elements because it possesses high electronegativity. G17, that is halogens, are very reactive due to high electronegativity value. High electronegativity value, which requires only one electron for the completion of octet. So all these elements can gain easily one electron and complete their octet. So these are the highly reactive, and it possesses the high electronegativity value. Hence it do not form in free state in nature. Say again, halogens are very reactive due to high electronegativity. Hence it does not occurs in free state. We cannot observe the halogens in atmosphere, stored in free state due to their high electronegativity. But it obtained in compound state. It shows that halogens can obtain in the forms of number of compounds like NaCl, MgCl2, CaCl2, sodium chloride, magnesium chloride. Likewise that number of salts forms compounds. So halogen can occur in the forms of compound, not in a free state, single state, due to their high electronegativity. In halogens there are number of elements. First is the fluorine, second one is the chlorine, third bromine, iodine and astatine. All these elements are placed in the halogens. In that halogens, this fluorine first element mainly occurs in insoluble fluorides. Mainly occurs in insoluble fluorides. Fluorides can occur in the forms of insoluble fluorides. That is, which are the insoluble fluorides? First insoluble fluoride is the fluorospar. Insoluble fluoride is a fluorospar, cryolite, first fluorospar, second cryolite and fluoroapatite. See again, fluorine mainly occurs in insoluble fluoride salts. First fluorospar, second cryolite and third one is the fluoroapatite. Fluorine also occurs in small quantities, that is smaller proportion, present in soils. What? Fluorine can occur in small percentage in soils, fresh waters, plants. Fluorine can occur in soils, fresh waters, plants and bones, teeth, etc. Say again, the occurrence of fluorine. Fluorine mainly occurs in the forms of insoluble fluorides, that is fluorospar, cryolite, fluoroapatite. In small quantity, fluorine can also occur in soils, fresh waters, plants, bones and teeth. Then see the next, seawater contain chlorides, bromides, iodides. All these chlorine, bromine, iodine can occur in seawater. Seawater contain chlorides, bromides and iodides. Seawater contain chlorides, bromides and iodides of sodium, magnesium, calcium, etc. This indicates what? The seawater containing chlorides, bromides, iodides in the forms of sodium chloride, magnesium iodide, likewise that. So in the forms of chlorides, sodium, magnesium and calcium. Seabeds, that is seabeds, contain sodium chlorides. Seabeds containing sodium chloride, NaCl, salt, common salt, sodium chloride. Then carnallite and carnallite, sodium chloride and carnallite, both are obtained in a seabeds. Sodium chloride, that is NaCl, carnallite having the formula KCl, potassium chloride with MgCl2, magnesium chloride. Magnesium chloride with potassium chloride, that is called as carnallite, which occurs in seabeds. Then marine waters or marine lives containing iodine. Marine life containing iodine. Iodine is generally obtained in marine lives in their systems. Generally in marine lives, how to obtain the iodines? In marine lives, iodine is obtained in seaweeds. In marine life, iodine is obtained in seaweeds, that is 0.5%. That is negligible. 0.5% iodine is obtained in seaweeds in marine life. And then chili saltpeter. In marine life, chili saltpeter also containing iodine, that is 0.2%. 0.2% iodine can obtain. Again, chlorine, bromine and iodine both are obtained in sea waters, but iodine is obtained in marine life. In marine life, seaweeds containing 0.5%, while chili saltpeter containing 0.2% of the iodine. Then last element, that is astatine. Astatine is the radioactive element. Astatine is a radioactive element. This is what it gives the rays. Radioactive elements having half-life period. Iodine is the radioactive element having half-life period 8.1 hours. 8.1 hours. So this is the occurrence of Z17 elements. Okay, thank you.